What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Crypt podcast. Wow, got a difference in weather today. It's been hot the last few days here in California or Northern California, San Francisco Bay Area where I live. It's been warm. Now it's cold, overcast. Kind of a crappy day. No sun is out today, but we're going to do a podcast instead. Let's get into this right now. This one comes from Lisa. Thank you so much, Lisa. Greatly appreciated. You brought this to my attention. And let's kind of get into this a little bit. Hope everybody's doing well out there. You guys, before we get into it, before we get this thing going, I want you guys to know that I am on most podcasting platforms. I know for sure I'm on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. And if the platform that you guys use to listen to your podcast does not carry the Crypt podcast, please request it and try to get it on there so you can enjoy this. I wanted to thank from last week, Tyler Scott, for submitting his mausoleum video. Thank you so much, Tyler. That is greatly appreciated. You are the man, and Lisa is the woman for sending me this article. She heard about it. It was brought to my attention by Lisa. Like I said, it's an article. It's Miami Herald newspaper dated April 24th, 2023. There was a man who was on a cruise ship and passed away. And for whatever reason, they stored his corpse in a drink cooler, not the morgue, a drink cooler on the ship. And I guess by the time the ship had docked, that drink cooler was not adequate in temperature to keep the body good. And when they got to their destination and got off the ship and they went to funeral home, went to retrieve his body, they found it in a drink cooler, and decomp had already set in. This is horrible. This is not, good at all. All righty. Here's the article here, Miami Herald from last year, April of last year. It says, when a funeral services employee went to retrieve a man's body after he died aboard a Celebrity Cruises ship, the passenger wasn't inside the ship's morgue, according to the lawsuit. So the family is filing a lawsuit here. The body of Robert L. Jones of Bonifay, Florida, was found in the Celebrity Equinox ship's drink cooler, where it laid in a body bag on a floor pallet for days and was badly decayed. His family's lawsuit filed April 19th in federal court in Miami says. Wow. The drink cooler was not cold enough to properly store a body and prevent it from decomposing, according to the complaint. Now, the ship is equipped with a morgue. I think just about all cruise ships, I guess they're required to have a working morgue. I know this ship, of what I heard, did. That's crazy. As a result, the family's plans to have an open casket funeral for Jones after the ship returned to Fort Lauderdale from the Caribbean was no longer possible, as his remains were so far gone in the decomposition process and couldn't be salvaged, the complaint says. The lawsuit was filed on behalf of Marilyn Jones, Jones's wife of 55 years, his daughters Robin Phillips and Teresa West, and his 3 grandchildren. It was first reported on by the Miami News Times. The family are seeking $1 million in damages. Celebrity Cruises, which is headquartered in Miami, declined a request for comment from McClatchy News on April 21st. And it has a caption here. The crew encourages Jones' wife to keep the body on board the ship, the lawsuit says. So they encouraged her to keep the body on the ship. And then they didn't properly store it. Oh, man. While on a trip to the Eastern Caribbean with his wife, Jones died from heart complications aboard the 1,041-foot-long Celebrity Equinox ship on August 15th, the complaint says. The cruise's crew members encouraged Marilyn Jones, who was 78 at the time, to keep her husband's remains on the ship until he returned to Fort Lauderdale instead of his body being removed in San Juan, Puerto Rico, according to the complaint. They also told Jones and West, who wasn't aboard the ship, that Jones's body could be stored in the ship's working morgue, the complaint says. While relying on the crew members' advice, Jones gave them permission to store her husband's body in the ship's morgue for the next 6 days, according to the complaint. Now, if you were the wife, would you want to stay aboard the cruise ship after your husband just died? I don't know. I don't know if I could do that. I would probably promptly have the body removed and then fly, get it, make arrangements to have it flown back home. I don't know if I'd be able to stay on a cruise ship, after that, for the next few days. I mean, that, at that point, the vacation's over. If your husband dies, the vacation's over. So I don't know if I can even do that if my spouse were to die on vacation like that. And I'm not saying anything on the wife. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, me personally, I don't know if I can do that. And it goes on to say, at some point before the ship docked in Fort Lauderdale, Jones's body was moved from the morgue to the drinks cooler on a separate floor for reasons not specified in the complaint. On August 21st, a local funeral home employee was escorted by Broward County Deputy Sheriff onto the ship to get Jones's body so it could be sent to Bonifay for a funeral, the complaint says. And ultimately, Jones's body was found with an intubation tube still left in his throat, and his body had decomposed inside the body bag in the drink cooler. That was not an appropriate temperature, according to the complaint. Wow. If a body is placed in a proper morgue, it can remain up to months without decomposing, the complaint says. So why was the body taken out of the morgue? It sounded like it was originally in there, then they took it out, unless the refrigeration there had failed and they moved the body to that drink cooler. But you think they would have, maybe told the wife or whatever, Storing the bodies of people who die aboard the cruise isn't something new for Celebrity Cruises, according to the complaint, which says the company is required to have a working morgue. The company's actions and inactions with regard to Mr. Jones's body were extremely indifferent to his passing, his dignity, and his family, friends, and community's loss, and showed an entire want of care for the safety of his remains, the complaint says. Jones's wife, children, grandchildren, and friends were unable to get the closure they deserved at an open casket funeral because they couldn't have the open casket because he'd already started decomposing. And I'm sure at that point, reconstruction or any kind of makeup job would not have sufficed for an open casket funeral. So I guess the family had elected to have the closed casket, which had robbed them of their closure, the article says. And it says the lawsuit was filed in the U.S. District Court, Southern District of Florida. So there you go, guys. That was, wow. That was pretty wild. My guess, and it's still not okay. It's still not cool. But my guess was that that maybe the morgue, the refrigeration system in the morgue had failed and they moved the body. But you think for one, they would have told the wife. For two, you think they would have had somebody aboard the ship able to fix refrigeration. I mean, they've got a kitchen with refrigeration that, you think there's the bar area has refrigeration. They would have somebody aboard the ship to fix the refrigeration. You think if, that were to have happened, and, that's just quite shocking. Quite wild, shocking. And I have no words, I would be devastated. And, in a way, I feel like the family probably should have, with that, not being kept abreast of what's going on with the husband's remains and everything. If the morgue refrigeration did fail, I don't know if it did, but my guess is the refrigeration failed. Not having somebody aboard to fix the refrigeration, but you think they would have? And why? They put the body in a drink cooler. That's kind of gross. That's something like, the drink cooler is something where they give passengers beverages out of. So that's really gross. And the decomp had started, and it just wasn't, in my opinion, my opinion only, I'm sure you guys can agree, or some of you can agree, it just wasn't proper handling of remains. That's just, wow. That's just whack. And I guess the family, I guess, in my opinion, should have sued for more than that, because that's just a nightmare. You're on vacation with your husband, your spouse, they pass, you entrust the ship to do the right thing with the body, and they don't, and I probably feel they should have probably sued for more. They weren't able to have an open casket funeral, which they wanted. That was in their family, that they had, open casket funerals for closure and all that. And it was that's just wacky. That's just crazy and wacky. And excuse me, I got to put battery. I had to put the charger, my computer on the charger. It's starting to go out on me, so forgive me here. I neglected to plug in my my laptop here before I started the podcast. So there we go, plugged in. Power source restored. Battery is not dying right now, but yeah, just can't believe that. That's that's crazy, And I have not found anything on, possibly any resolution to this. I gotta dig deeper. If I find anything, more on this, I will let you guys know. This is just horrible. It's God. Like I said, I can't imagine. And like I said, I'm not bashing on the wife. She stayed on the cruise ship in another 6 days. But why? I don't know how she did that. I'm not saying anything bad about her. Like I said, I don't know why she would stay on the cruise ship. And even with the husband's body in a working morgue, even if they didn't put it in the drink cooler, why would she stay on the ship after that? I wouldn't be able to even, enjoy a vacation after that. I would have gotten off in Puerto Rico with the body and had it shipped home and flown home. And that's just what I would have done. But I don't know what's going on what was going on in the wife's head. So I can't really speak on it. That's just me, though. Personally, I wouldn't be able to do that. And but if I find anything else out about this, I will let you guys know. And like I said, one more time, thank you to Lisa for bringing this to my attention. Lisa is my guardian angel on this adventure. She's always finding me something. She's always, if I'm stumped on a grave, she's one of my YouTube viewers. If I'm stumped on a grave, she can find a needle in a haystack. If I, have a certain person that I'm looking for information on and I can't find, she will find it. She will find a needle in a haystack for me. So I thank you so much, Lisa, for doing that, and getting this, to my attention. And if there's any more developments on this, I will let you guys know for sure. And also from last week's video, one of last week's mausoleum videos, I guess I wanted to thank Tyler Scott for submitting videos. Now let's get into submitting videos for me to put on YouTube. I am open for viewer submissions for videos. I am totally open for it. I am totally down for it. But do me this one thing. I've got like one ask of this. For one, film the videos, not holding the phone up and down. Turn the phone to the side and film it in landscape mode. That just makes it a lot easier. It fills up the screen. Like you're seeing this video, it fills up the screen. Film it in landscape mode if you want to submit a video if you film on your cell phone or whatever. My other ask is, you're probably going to be emailing me the clip or clips of the video. Don't film one continuous 20-minute video. Film it in 2 to 3 minute increments if you can. 2 to 3 minute increments. That way, when you send the files to me, they're smaller files. They're easy to send via direct message on social media, and or they're easier to email to me. Because if the clips are way too long, you're not going to be able to email them to me or get them to me through direct message or anything. So make sure the files are small, film in 2 to 3 minute increments of your cemeteries, your mausoleums, your cemeteries. I am totally down. I want to see, I would love to see you guys' cemeteries. I live in California in the United States of America, Northern California. I would love to see the cemeteries where you guys live. If I'm not able to get to your cemetery, film it for me, get it to me, and I will, put it together, edit it, upload it, and I will give you guys full credit on that one. And like I said, just make sure you film it, small enough so you can send it through email or whatever. And that's my only ask of, viewer submissions, and all that for that. So that's cool. But thank you to Tyler Scott for getting me the mausoleum video that he got to me from that mausoleum over in Southern California by where his parents live. He was visiting his parents or at their house, and he had filmed that cemetery for me. Very nice of him. So thank you, Tyler. Thank you, Lisa, for getting today's topic of the podcast over to me. And all that good stuff. And what other business can we cover here? I think we're pretty much it. Um, I would love for this podcast. I've said before, I would love to get guests, on this podcast. Whether it be my viewers from YouTube, my fellow creators. I would love to get a guest or guests on this podcast. To me, that would be more ideal than me just sitting here and rambling for 20 minutes, 25 minutes at a time, however long my podcasts are. To me, that beats sitting here rambling on my own. Lisa or Tyler Scott or anybody out there who would like to come on the podcast and discuss, their favorite cemetery or, their favorite grave or, an experience they've had at a cemetery or whatever. You want to come on the podcast, let me know. Email me at cryptdoor, one long thing, no spaces, cryptdoor@gmail.com. And, let me know what you want to come on and talk about. I mean, this podcast can be the safe haven. Of course, I do, cemetery exploring on YouTube. The stuff I've done so far, it kind of relates to that. But the thing is, we don't have to always do cemeteries. I think we can talk about whatever we want on this podcast as a community. We can talk about whatever we want, Of course, we're probably going to lean more towards the cemeteries, but I'm open to talk about whatever we see fit, I look at this podcast as like safe haven, open discussion about anything we want. It can be open discussion about anything. So just keep that in mind too, guys. You might see podcasts at times that maybe it's not all about cemeteries, or you'll be listening to the podcast at times where it may not be all about cemeteries. But I think for the most part, we're going to lean more towards that kind of subject matter. But once in a while, something might come across my desk that might be totally out of left field, and I might be talking about it. So that, just so you know, there's a video version of this podcast. If you want to be a guest on the Crypt Door podcast here, I guess you don't always have to be on the screen. I think we do a split screen thing, or however many people. I think I can have up to 8 people on my podcasting platform or my streaming platform. However many guests I have, I think you can shut your camera off on your side and just have an avatar or something if you don't want to be seen on camera. I know people have kind of shied away from being on a video or a video version of the podcast because they don't want to be on camera. I think you can shut off the camera on your side and just have like an avatar picture up of yourself. I do believe on the StreamYard platform that I am using to do the video part of this. So just be aware of that. You don't have to be on camera. You just be audio on the podcast from what I can tell so far. you can just do audio. So, guys, let me know in the comment box below how you feel about this. Whatever, if you're listening to this on a podcasting platform, or if you're watching this on YouTube, let me know in the comment box below how you feel about this cruise ship, this wife whose husband's remains were improperly stored, and the decomp had already set in by the time they got to their destination. Let me know in the comment box below. How would you feel? And would you be able to stay on vacation an extra 6 days on the ship? Something like that happened to your spouse. Throw it out there in the comment box below, guys. All that. If there's a thumbs up this podcast, or if there's stars, wherever you're seeing this, if there's a star rating or whatever, give me some stars, guys. I love doing this. I love doing this format here. It's something that I kind of wanted to do. I've dipped my toes in it about a year ago and didn't do any more with it, but I would like to keep this going. And I know on YouTube, the video version right now doesn't seem like YouTube's really clicking with it, like they're really pushing the video version of this. But hopefully someday that could change. I know like the podcasts are a little different than the cemetery explorers that I do. So YouTube's algorithm is probably looking at the video version and going, what the hell is this? How do we push this to people? They're probably still trying to figure out these videos possibly. But share this, the video version, share it with everybody. Try to get the ball rolling on the podcast, the video version on YouTube as well. All right, guys, you guys are the best. I'm going to get out of here. Got to get this thing uploaded and released for the masses. And like I said, let me know in the comments how you feel about that. And how would you react to it? And would you continue to stay on vacation for an extra 6 days or so? Thank you all so much, and I will talk to you soon.